Hi, I'm Alycin Bektesh, Strategic Communications Manager for Pitkin County. I'm so excited to be walking us through a little check-in on the airport modernization process this morning, specific to the terminal design. I have with me our airport director, Diane Jackson. Good morning, Diane.
Good morning, Alycin.
And I'm so thrilled. Also joining us today is Tony Martinez. He's an associate principal with ZGF Architects, who are designing the new terminal for us. And we're just going to chat a little bit about where we are. Tony, thanks so much for being available this morning as well.
My pleasure. Good morning.
All right, I want to talk about where we are in the process. I know there was a lot of excitement after a election measure passed last year. Of course, we just had another reaffirmation of that this year. And then what, right? So then how do we actually go from this idea that we want a new terminal to getting one? Tony, this is a slide from you and your team. Can you just walk us through where we are in the timeline right now?
Yeah, sure. So we're a little bit past halfway point in the concepts and programming phase. So, in this phase, everything's really squishy and soft. We're moving things around all over the site, trying to figure out what fits best in our very constrained site with lots of things that we need to find a home for. And so we're working with Diane and her team, along with the county and lots of other stakeholders, to try to find the right homes for all of the really important pieces to make this airport run really well and give passengers in this community a really fantastic airport that runs well. And so, yeah, there's lots of moving parts and pieces, and it's a complicated problem. And this phase is really about trying every single opportunity out and finding the right place for the right thing.
That's so exciting. I have no concept of how we go from a dream to a real physical building that I get to take off on an airplane. And can you at least define for me a little bit of what this is, these 16 weeks, what that means from a designer standpoint of programming versus where we're going to head into the new year? What does schematic design mean?
Yeah, so like I said, this first 16 weeks, everything's really squishy. We're moving big pieces around the site. In the next phase, hopefully by the end of this phase, we've landed, where parking is, where the terminal is, where, rental cars, facilities are, those kinds of big elements live on the site. And then in schematic design, we'll really start to refine it. We'll start to decide how everything looks and feels, how the buildings work together. So yeah, the schematic design phase really starts to make it look and feel more real and more like a building.
All right, fantastic. Thank you. Okay, Diane, while Tony and his team are working on all these phases, they do have groundwork that this is coming from. And I'd just love for you to speak a little bit about what is going into even the foundation of dreaming up a new terminal.
So everything we have really goes back to our common ground recommendations. Our community input for our airport is key, and it's our North Star for everything we do here at the airport. So you're going to see out of 15 of our common ground recommendations, the ones that really speak to the terminal and how important that is for us. Everything that we do, right from the visioning process now to our task forces, we'll be looking at this and ensuring that our community partners as well as our design team have these in mind.
Wonderful. And just as a reminder, the terminal is one aspect. Can you quickly walk me through each of the ongoing and interconnected elements of this whole redevelopment project?
Absolutely. So as a reminder, the whole project itself is estimated currently at $575 million. That includes everything you see here. Aside from the green area, that's an additional $105 million that the FBO will be putting in. So the area that people are most concerned with and probably the most excited about are the yellow here, the new terminal and the area improvements around that. That will include a beautiful terminal that Tony and his team are designing, rental car area, ground transportation that is vital to the success of this project, as well as some parking. Concurrently with that, we will be shifting the runway 80 feet to the west, which is the red area here, and reconstructing that, given some of the history and the problems with a subsurface issue on the runway. The green area is actually Atlantic Aviation, our fixed-base operator, who's a fantastic partner with us. They will also be doing modernization work on their property as well. And the purple area you see here will be for our local pilots, and that will be done post all of these other areas. So thank you, Alycin.
It's a massive project and a lot of moving parts. I know our community is most concerned with what does that mean for as far as accessing the airport and utilizing the airport. Of course, we know there's going to have to be a shutdown at one point. So I always like to bring up this slide just to start doing some expectation setting of what we're thinking as far as when that runway might be shut down, but also what we can get done with the terminal at that same time. And the fact that Tony, you're tasked with creating a whole new terminal while keeping another one open so that we have the minimum impact on our community.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's a really unique opportunity for the airport. It's not often that you're building a new runway, a new roadway, and a new terminal, and a new ground transportation center all at the same time. Meanwhile, keeping the existing airport running. So there's a lot of things happening on the site all at once. And yeah, we need to keep everything going at the same time, and you're going to have this really unique window where you have to close down your airport because you have one runway while you're rebuilding it. And so we want to make most use of that time while it's closed and do every bit of construction we can so that you make the most use of those dollars in that shutdown, so that the contractors can be really, really efficient with that shutdown time. So we're going to design everything we can to make best use of that window.
Fantastic. In order to stay up to date with all of those items, we do have an entire website just devoted to this very complicated project, aspenairport.com/modernization. We have a newsletter that's kind of general airport news monthly, but we've also started this new newsletter, frequent flyer updates specific to the program. So anybody who wants to learn about the opportunities for some engagement sessions, open houses, any other information that comes up, you'll get some more frequent updates from us. And now, more than anything, what we're looking for is engagement in our next community open house. So in that timeline, Tony, this is kind of the cap, the frosting on top of that phase one. What will this final community open house on December 4th be an opportunity for as the community comes and participates?
Yeah, the design team has been working really hard to refine the concept. So for December 4th, we're hoping to bring a refined version of, moving all those parts and pieces around. Hopefully we've found good locations for the multimodal center, for the terminal, for the way that the vehicles will move through the site. And so there'll be an opportunity to weigh in on how those things are working and how the community feels like they're supporting those common ground recommendations. We're going to bring some information about how those elements might look and feel, preceding the schematic design ideas on biophilic design and how people respond to nature and the way that design can impact stress and the way employees might even perform better in well-lit spaces and in spaces that are connected to natural environments. So there'll be a lot of really interesting things to see, I think, December 4th.
Alycin, I just want to extend that out from the airport itself. It means so much to us to see this community come out and really help us design and shape the future of the airport.
And some of the concepts you're talking about, Tony, there's just so many airports that aren't thinking of that or are new opportunities for infrastructure that that those words aren't even used. So it's such a cool, unique experience that's really reflective of those foundational values that our community has insisted upon since this conversation started. So such an exciting time. Anything that people missed out on and those first kind of community open houses is all available online, all the slides that Tony and ZGF have put together. So there's a lot of opportunity for getting yourself caught up, and we really hope to see everybody on December 4th. Diane, Tony, thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Thanks, Alycin.
Thanks, Alycin.